What's up, everybody? It's your boy, back again for another Monday. I'm feeling ecstatic today, alright? It's a beautiful day outside. Mike Tyson's feeling good. Eu estou me sentindo muito feliz, caralho, alright? Because for today's video, man, I hope you got your chef's hat on, alright? Because I'm about to cook. But of course, I gotta ask, how was your past week? Did you do anything fun? Do anything great? Get into any new endeavors? But for today's video, we gotta cut straight to the chase. Y'all see the title? You know what I'm going to talk about. In today's age of music, all right, there's like new talent every day. At this point in time, I feel like we've just been forgetting who's new, who's not new. I feel like every 5 seconds there's like a new pop act coming out, and it can become kind of a headache to try and keep up with, right? And a lot of these musical acts that come out of nowhere, they tend to be heavily orchestrated behind the scenes by the music executives in the music industry. But now today we got a new artist, another one that has blown up straight out of nowhere, and that is 4Bats. Now, if you don't know who 4Bats is, he is a singer, songwriter, rapper man from Dallas, Texas. He does the whole high-pitched singing, sweet song, whatever shit. You know, it's kind of like a mixture of Brent Faiyaz and Tory Lanez. You know, if Tory Lanez didn't go to jail for shooting people in the foot. And like part of his whole music persona is going around with like a shiesty and hanging out with the gang and posting up in the grandma's kitchen for a music video, you know, which is like a kind of a resemblance of an artist that we've seen before. But I digress. But of course, with every new artist, there's always going to be the plant accusations. And I feel like with 4Bats, it's a little different. He is probably the most blatant example of an industry plant I could probably think of. Like, you would think Ice Spice would be pretty planty, especially for me seeing her come up as far as she did. But I genuinely can't find anything on 4Bats as a person in his backstory. It's as if he really did just pop up out of thin air. I do have some backing evidence to prove why he would be an industry plant. So first of all, the most obvious evidence here is the fact that he only has 4 songs on Spotify while having 14.5 million monthly listeners, with each song sitting at least 6 million streams. Now you'd be thinking, well, maybe he has like a SoundCloud or like a Bandcamp or something that has like some backing music from like anything he did before to kind of help show that, yeah, he has like a foundation somewhere. But like, no, you go on SoundCloud, there's only technically 4 songs by him, which are the same 4 songs you'll find on every other streaming platform, with those getting over 300,000 streams. And there is no Bandcamp for 4Bats because he's signed to OVO, so why would he need a Bandcamp in the first place? And when doing some research, I came across a comment on Reddit that sparked my interest, basically talking about how obvious 4Bats is an industry plant. And when you look at his streaming numbers over time on Spotify, it would show that he was getting 6,337 streams every day for months on end until he reached 1 million. Then he would eventually drop his second single, Act 2. Now, while there is no direct exact evidence to prove the fact of like he was getting these exact numbers, that when you do the math between when Act 1 and Act 2 dropped, with Act 1 dropping back in July 27th of 2023, and when Act 2 dropped in December 15th of 2023, the total streams for Act 1 to Act 2 on Spotify reaches just over 1 million streams, which kind of validates this one person's comment. But of course, if you need any more proof, you can always go on songstats.com, which has the ability to show you the all-time Spotify numbers for 4Bats when it comes to the playlist his songs is being included in, and also the amount of times his song has been reached in playlists. Now, if you don't know what reached means in Spotify, it basically means what happens when your song is being noticed by listeners or being checked out by listeners as well in Spotify curated playlist. Now, since July 8th, which would be like the second official week that Act 1 dropped on streaming, it was only sitting at 4,000 reach with 1 playlist inclusion. But then on August 21st, it just had this miraculous jump, going from 4,000 playlist reaches to over 80,000 alongside a second playlist inclusion. Now, why I bring this up is because Act 2 was released under the Vidya Music brand, which if you don't know what that is, it is this music tech distribution platform that essentially specializes in music distribution, music analytics, music rights, and music royalties. And this company was also responsible for the popular female rapper Sexy Red getting her stardom. But that's not all, because this video company is actually also owned by the rising music enterprise Gamma. Now, if you don't know what Gamma is, as stated before, it's this large music company that started back in 2023 that was founded by executives Larry Jackson and Ike Yusuf, and it had a $1 billion backing by investors on startup. So I bring this all back to 4Bats because my theory is that when he dropped Act 1 back in June, he was already with Vidya. And the music execs more likely saw the marketing potential with this track and decided to artificially boost his numbers in August of 2023 to be able to create some solid digital footprint for when he drops his second single, Act 2. So now the next question becomes, right, how did this one dude get so involved with a startup music enterprise off just one single? So when you look at Forbat's management, right, it includes two people, Brent Smith and Lauren Marker. Now, if you don't know who those people are, they both work for Wasserman, which is a billion-dollar multimedia and entertainment booking company. Now, with Brent Smith, not only is Brent Smith an employee, but he is the executive vice president of Wasserman. And his resume stretches as far back to working at WME, which is another booking agency, which, by the way, that was also Drake's previous agency, but we'll tackle that later. But Brent Smith was also working with Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, and Frank Ocean as well while he was at WME. Now, if you're wondering why he doesn't work at WME anymore, it's because he got fired for being a dick. But as for Lauren Marker, she also used to work at WME at around the same time as Mr. Brent Smith. But the thing is, though, she was just an agent trainee, meaning that she was more likely under the wing of Mr. Brent Smith. So I'm assuming that once Brent Smith got the nice executive seat at Wasserman, he just took Lori Marker and just slapped her right there in a position because she was already under him back at WME. Except the only thing I don't believe is that she's actually doing any managing work. I believe she's just listening to whatever Brent has to say. So another theory of mine that I believe is that while Forbats was at Vidya, which is under Gamma, Mr. Larry Jackson worked with Mr. Brent Smith to artificially boost Forbats' career because Larry Jackson believed that Brent Smith could help boost another hip-hop artist's career as much as he's always did many times before. But now, flash forward to today, and now Forbats is with OVO. You're probably wondering, how did that happen? What happened to Gamma? What happened to Video? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so to bring back the Drake thing, right? Remember how I told you how WME used to be Drake's old agency? Well, what if I told you that Drake was now working under Wasserman? So, of course, if you can connect the dots, right? Drake's new agency is Wasserman. Forbats, managed by Wasserman, more specifically, managed by the executive vice president of Wasserman. So Brent Smith, being the well-connected hip-hop manager he is with the long, extensive profile that he has, more likely got up with Drake, told Drake, hey, we have a potential star on our hands. So boom, Drake checks out Act 1 and Act 2, sees the profitability, collabs with him with that Drake stimulus check, and the rest should be history. And of course, Forbats got signed by OVO, more likely as some sort of nice gesture from Drake to Brent Smith. But what does this all mean? I don't want to feel like I'm yapping, all right? Am I yapping? Let me know if I'm yapping, okay? I guess what I'm trying to say is that the game was rigged from the beginning. I suspect that Forbats' career was artificial since day one, and although I can't find anything on Nico Bennett, which is his real name, I still believe that he already had some pre-existing connections, whether it be with someone at Vidya, or someone at Gamma, or someone at Wasserman, to be able to help artificially boost his career into what it is now. But still, at the end of the day, either way it goes, I'm still not going to listen to Forbats because I think his music sucks. And whether you believe me or not is up to you. Just let me know down below in the comments. But that was my conspiracy theory rant. If I sounded mentally insane, just leave a like right there, all right? I'll see y'all later. I gotta go eat something and take care of my dog. Peace.
Among Us.